Hello and welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Ste, this is Tom Jennings, and we are here to talk to you about a hot topic, the biggest winners and losers from the NFL off-season. And now I know what you're thinking, there's absolutely miles to go to the season, it is ages away, there's still things to be done, deals to be done, blah, blah, blah. But we're focusing mainly on what's happened in free agency and what's happened in the draft. So which teams have done well, which players have done well for themselves, and unfortunately, who's going to be on the wrong end of all those deals. I've asked Jenno to come up with a list of winners and a list of losers, a list of losers, and we're going to go through all of them. Blah, blah, blah. You know the score by now. Let us know in the comments section below if you agree with anything Jenno says in terms of winners and losers. And if you don't agree with them, by all means, give them stick in there as well. So, Jenno, it's been a mad off-season. We've seen tons of money spent. We've seen tons of quarterbacks move. Obviously, the draft was one of the most anticipated drafts of all time. But who was the biggest winner of the off-season for you so far?
I think the biggest winner was Eli Manning.
Yep.
Eli Manning's the biggest winner because the Giants have basically bet their franchise that he's still got 5 years to play. That'll also come up in the losers. Look at what he's got, all the weapons he's got. He's now got Saquon Barkley, who's going to be a top running back. He's got Odell Beckham, he's got Ste and Jenno, he's got Evan Ingram. That offense is loaded in terms of skill position talent. The offensive line's a little bit iffy, we don't know. But then even then, they tried to cure that with Nate Solder. So they tried to improve that, they tried to improve the whole offensive line. They've basically put every piece possible in place to say Eli Manning gone winners another Super Bowl.
Yeah, and obviously had two in the draft. They didn't go for so they could have took anyone basically except Baker Mayfield, any quarterback they wanted. So there was reports they could have took Sam Darnold, which would have obviously put pressure on Eli. You know for a fact, in New York, if Eli lost a few games, they'd have been calling for Saquon Barkley. Now he's got no one like that. He's got no pressure on him in terms of a backup. He's got probably a better coaching staff. They've done that as well. We should remember how ridiculously poor Ben McAdoo was. Well, he's went and got, you know, a Vikings coaching staff, or a head coach at least, who got, you know, Case Keenum to within a game of the Super Bowl. Who was, you know, and maybe you can compare Eli at this stage to Case Keenum at that stage. So I do agree with you. It's just it's a gamble for them, and like you say, but he is definitely a winner. Listen, his job security is safe for another year. He's not going to get benched probably for another year. He's been given 2 new offensive linemen, which he desperately needed. He's got the running back, he's got the weapons. I agree. I think Eli, after a difficult year last year, where it looked like he might have been done, he might have been gone, now he's, you know, the Giants will expect to make a playoff push, and he's going to be the man they expect to lead into. So I'm with you on that one. So who's your biggest loser?
Well, this one goes back to, it's the Giants again, because they bet their franchise on Eli. And now, this is actually, I was going to stop banging this drum because I feel like I'm going to be wrong in the event if I keep saying it. But it was an article I was reading, it was by why Saquon Barkley was a poor choice. And it's more out to do with the NFL analytics and how they work, as in rookie contracts for QBs, which is something we bring up a lot on the show, because they're so undervalued that Saquon Barkley, in terms of running backs, they come in on big money. He's going to be probably top 5 running back money. And so you're not getting that undervalued, the cheap one where you save like 75 million, I think it was worked out. It's a really good article, I'll put it in the description, it's on ESPN. And it basically just talks about how, something we brought up is how all these franchises who have QBs on rookie deals, you know, quickly, it changes them around very quickly because they can spend money elsewhere, whereas now the Giants haven't done that. And because they've bet everything on the house by going on Saquon Barkley, unless Eli Manning can produce at a level that he hasn't produced for now about 3 years, for 5 years, then it doesn't really work out.
Yeah, I suppose if they took a Sam Darnold and he comes in day one and is brilliant, they've got 5 years of, look what Russell Wilson did for Seattle, and look what, you know, the Eagles were able to do because of Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, all on cheap deals, so they've been able to load up on talent. Now, I suppose what you could say is that the Giants have got a lot of talent anyway, it's just the window is very short. Yeah. For me, you mentioned before about Eli being the quarterback for 5 years. To me, it looks like it's even shorter. Yeah. It looks like they've gambled for like maybe 2 years, and then they'll kind of see where they are. And then worst case is, if they absolutely bomb, then that's when they'll get the quarterback. But I'm with it. I think we said on the pre-draft stuff, they should have took a quarterback. They never. Barkley will be good. It's just to see how good they are. Your next winner, then I'm looking at your list now. You've gone for this. We mentioned before, was a drum that this show banged. We very much banged the Jimmy Garoppolo drum. We're all very much fans of Jimmy Garoppolo. You've gone for him as your next winner.
Yeah, I think the San Francisco 49ers are doing everything they possibly can to put him in a winning position. I mean, a lot of people felt they'd have to cut him a little too early. I don't think it matters if you've got yourself a left tackle who's going to be good enough. Then
Mike McGlinchey.
sorry,
Michael McGlinchey.
It was it Raiders one? Yeah, sorry.
Michael
McGlinchey.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. That big guy.
Yeah, they went and got him a tackle. That's the main thing.
They went and got him a left tackle, and that's them basically saying, let's do everything we possibly can to protect Jimmy Garoppolo, because the one thing I've got on Jimmy Garoppolo, the only thing that worries you a little bit is he a bit fragile, because he's not the biggest of quarterbacks, and you see when he got those shoe starts in New England, he did get injured. But 7 games right to San Francisco, he was amazing. So I think he's a big winner in terms of that. They look like they're going to protect him, and that's the most valuable thing.
Again, he's got a lot of weapons. He's got an amazing coach. We should mention that. Although that wasn't particularly an off-season move, obviously from last year. But I agree. I think he's in a great position to succeed. They went and got themselves time bolstered the defense a bit as well. They're in a division where, Seattle look like they're going through a bit of a rebuild. Who knows what Arizona are? The Rams look really, really good, but he's definitely in a position where I think he can go on and listen. He's never lost. So at this time next year, we might be talking about 19-0 and Jimmy G. But I'm with it. I think he's in a he's in probably. If you'd have said going into this draft, if Jimmy Garoppolo was in that draft, he would have been the number 1 pick, for example, because
everyone would have took him.
He showed how good he is, and I agree. They've only done more to try and build a team around him. When you pay someone all that money on a relatively short sample size, you've got to do everything you can to maximise them. Your next loser, then again, I feel like we are repeating ourselves slightly, but we've gone on about Joe Flacco on the show all last year, and I think we were proven right, and I think we were ultimately proven right by the fact that the Ravens decided to draft a first-round quarterback. I can tell you now, teams with unless a quarterback's like 37, 40. Aren't drafting a first-round quarterback unless this isn't Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. This is, Lamar Jackson's going to play at some stage, and Joe Flacco ultimately, it's probably at best for him. You've got one more season in Baltimore, so he's been paid. Listen, it's hard to call him a loser. He's won a Super Bowl. He got all that money, and he got a ridiculous amount of money. But it looks like he's on the way out of Baltimore, a team that when he won that Super Bowl, you'd think he'd have been there until the day he retired. But no, he looks like he's a goner.
Yeah, there was one of these shows, remember us breaking it down, and we actually looked at when his contract went out, and we said, well, in 2 years he's not going to be there, and it seems right. As soon as that guaranteed money's gone, he's gone. Like, it's going to be, let the door hit you on the way out, Joe, because he just hasn't performed to what they needed. No. He deserved to get paid. Those players from the show deserved to get paid. I don't think it was wasted money. But
the second one was, they redone the deal, because they basically paid them too much and they had to rework it, and that's where they've ultimately killed themselves. And like I say, we mentioned rookie contracts, they've not been able to surround him with talent because he's been getting all the money. Yeah,
and they haven't been able to find him a running back. That's the other thing. He's a quarterback who heavily relies on running back.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's going to be opposite of that, because he's going to have that run game. He's going to be that running threat. So I think as a loser, it's just Joe Flacco, especially because at the start of that, when he took the tight end, he was thinking, oh, I'm going to be a winner here. And then it's kind of like the Mike Glennon situation, where Mike Glennon's like, oh, I'm going to be the quarterback to Chicago Bears, and then he went into that to Mitch Trubisky, and it was like, oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah, and there's been reports that Flacco and Jackson haven't even talked, which is fair enough. Flacco's on his off season, I need to speak to him. But if I said to you, week 7, who's the quarterback in Baltimore, who would you think?
Oh, I still think it'll be Flacco.
You think he'll play the whole season? Or?
I think he'll play the first 12 to 13 games. Okay. I think it's not until the end of. So you could think about, they could be in the playoff hunt. Yeah. So it's only if they're out of the playoff hunt does Jackson come in. So I'm not sure. I haven't decided where I think the Ravens are going to do this season.
I've got a feeling he might go early, because I think if you look at the team they've built a running team. They've built a running team. That's what they've done. Because Joe Flacco is a deep ball merchant or a dump off merchant. They haven't really got any deep threats, and they haven't got anyone to dump it off to. So I think if you're a coach and you're in practice and you're watching, imagine you're the defensive coordinator at Baltimore and you're lining up against Jackson in practice, you'll be thinking, geez, this is hard. Will you be confident of facing Flacco? And I just think if you're a coaching staff in Baltimore and you're losing games, or your offense can't move the ball, and then you've got Lamar Jackson, who, listen, he might not be the best thrower in the world, but I promise you, put him on the field and your run game will be better, because it'll be him running it, or the threat of him running it will terrify teams. Jonathan Stewart isn't the best running back in the world, but he got production in Carolina because teams were terrified of Cam running, and I think Jackson's going to be the same.
So with the other ones, you could say there's Alfred Morris as well. He looked amazing when he had RG3 running with him, because again, it was RG3.
Exactly. And I've got a feeling that we'll see Jackson relatively quickly. I think he's finished. I think the back injury really hurt him, and I think they're gonna. even if they're 2 and 4, I think they're going to look and go, you know what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why don't we get this guy on the field who's absolute lightning and see how he goes? And again, we'll find out. But I'm with you. I think Joe Flacco he's going to be on a new team. Maybe not this season. Maybe the start of next season. I wouldn't even be that shocked if you get another Sam Bradford type situation where a team someone goes down. Say, just off the top of my head, say Blake Bortles gets injured in training camp. You could see Jacksonville giving up a second or a third and going, listen, we need a quarterback, get us Joe Flacco for a couple of years and then we'll go from there. I wouldn't be at all shocked. So I'm with you on that one. Another winner then. We've had a couple so far. We had 2 quarterbacks. Who's your next winner?
My next one, another quarterback. This time it's Tom Brady. The reason why Tom Brady's a winner in this draft is because straight away everyone's talking about New England taking in a quarterback to replace Tom Brady. We know how competitive Tom Brady is. There's rumours about what he was like with Jimmy Garoppolo, but here's the secret. Every NFL starting quarterback doesn't get on with the guy who's been drafted to replace him. Yeah. Ask Steve Young what he thought of Joe Montana. He hated him.
Favre and Rodgers. Rodgers openly admits Favre was a bit of a bellend. And rightly so, he should be.
Yeah, exactly. And anyone seen what Ben Roethlisberger done with Mason Rudolph? I mean, that's another one. So everyone hates it. But the point I was making about Tom Brady is New England don't even think they need someone for the future. They believe that much in him. They've then just went and drafted the offensive line player. They got the person from the 49ers who they actually think it might be the left tackle. That's the rumours coming out of the Patriots. And then as well as that, losing Dion Lewis, they went and just drafted a running back who they feel like will be an upgrade in Sony Michel. So Tom Brady again's coming out.
They've kept Gronk as well. They've managed to pay Gronk because they've kept Gronk around. Tom Brady's a winner at life. Anyway, but like I'm with you, it's that I found it odd that people were saying get the quarterback of the future. There's no signs of Tom Brady slowing down. He's the MVP of the league. How old is he? 40, and he's the MVP. There's no need to look at the future. Win now. And then there will be a time when Brady goes, and it might be 1 year, it might be 2 years. And you know what? If you have one bad year with a bad quarterback for like whatever, you can kind of live with it for now. I'm with you. I think New England have shown that although they do look to the future, and Belichick obviously does, he traded down, he got future picks. They're very much in now, and even though there's talk of a Belichick and Brady a bit of a rift or there's something going, I'm with it. It doesn't all seem rosy in the garden. They've done everything they can to win now. They haven't gone, right, let's jack this in, let's draft Baker Mayfield and we'll just start progressing away from Tom. They've got actually, no, he's still really, really good. And you know what, it isn't the worst planet in the world. Who's your next loser, Jenno?
My next loser is Carlos Hyde. Again, we seem like repeating ourselves again. He's a good running back, but the Browns went and took Nick Chubb? Yeah, Nick Chubb. To show that again, they've drafted someone else to have more depth to that running back room. I was saying Carlos Hyde's fine, you don't need to go and get Saquon Barkley for that reason at number 4 if he'd fell there. But the Browns see differently and they see that they need another running back instead of Carlos Hyde. So he's a loser because again, he'd have thought he's been going to a situation where he's finally going to be the starting running back and the team's going to believe in him. And it doesn't seem to be the case again. Yeah,
there's Chubb and then also Duke Johnson, although he's a really good third down back, so you're not going to see much of Hyde on the third down. We'll see. I still think ultimately, I'm not a big Chubb fan. I think he was pretty good. I don't think he was brilliant. I think Hyde might win that job, but I agree. He's gone somewhere where he thinks, I'm going to be the starter. I'm going to finally play in a system. I'm going to get paid a fair decent bit of money. And again, he's been a bit Flacco, hasn't he? He's been a bit where someone else has been drafted in. But that happened. That's the NFL, isn't it? Teams come in, teams try and replace you, and it's up to you to beat them out. Teams have drafted. Listen, Jimmy Garoppolo was coming to take over Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's gone no. Not happening. Just this not happening to me at all. He can go somewhere else, and that's what Hyde needs to do. He needs to go, I'm better than you, mate. I don't care if you're the top of the second round pick or whatever. So I agree. I think it was a difficult one because he's good enough to be a starter, and there's a lot of teams who could have done with him. And ultimately, and listen, he's in Cleveland, which is until proven otherwise, that makes you a bit of a loser anyway. You've gone for a position group as a whole next for your next winner?
Yeah, sticking on the theory of running backs, but I believe the running back value in general, it went for 10 years of just no one caring about running backs and just looking for depth, whereas now over the last 3 years we saw running backs getting taken in the top 5 picks, which hadn't happened before and hadn't happened with any success before, but as we've seen, it transformed what the Cowboys were doing. It was useful for the Jaguars, though their offense actually played better without Fournette, but I think that was just more coincidental in terms of teams still playing. And then also there was a mad run on second rounds on the running back, so teams seem to be thinking that the NFL players are getting softer, they're getting faster, but they're getting weaker, so therefore running back value is in terms of positional sense is going up in the league.
Yeah, and I think the key of everyone you mentioned, so you mentioned, Zeke, and you mentioned maybe Todd Gurley and Leonard Fournette, maybe to a lesser extent, Christian McCaffrey went in the top 10 as well. It's guys who can catch. I think if you can stay on the field for 3 downs, you are extremely valuable. I think the days of an Adrian Peterson, who's, first down run, second down run off the field, have a break on third down, I think those type of players now are not going to, you're not going to see those. But if you're a 200-pound guy who can block, who can catch, which, to be fair, all the guys I mentioned definitely can, you have a huge mismatch because, like you say, teams on defence are getting a bit smaller in terms of, nickel packages. Yeah. You take a linebacker off the field or you take a defensive tackle off the field to cope with speed. Well, let's run it down their throat, or get them on. So get a linebacker covering Todd Gurley, or get a linebacker covering Zeke Elliott, and we're going to see it with Saquon Barkley. Trust me, he's an amazing blocker and pass catcher. And with you, it seemed before the Gurley pick, I think the Gurley pick was the one that really transformed it. We saw a bit of Trent Richardson and that I think that scared teams because he wasn't a pass catcher. Yeah. He was a running back.
And we saw it with Reggie Bush, and his problem was he was
just a pass catcher.
Tackles, he was just a pass catcher. So it's if you've got that double ability.
If you can do both, if you can run and you can catch, there's still value in you. And I agree. I think Barkley is going to be amazing. And that's what I think. If I'm a running back at college level now, you have to be able to learn pass protection and learn to catch. Christian McCaffrey cannot pass block, and there's a reason why he's not going to be running between tackles. I know people keep saying he can't. I think he could run the ball. They just don't trust him to pass block. So you can't have him on the field in the backfield too much, because you're just giving away the fact that you are passing or that you're running, because he just can't block. So I'm with you in the fact that if McCaffrey's on the field, there's a good chance you're handing it off. Yeah. Where if you split him out wide, then you know that they're going to pass. They've got themselves in a situation. He really needs to learn to block. But I'm with you, value as a whole. If you're a running back now, in college, don't be a running back. But if you're going to be one, make sure, make goddamn sure you can pass. Another loser.
I went for John Gruden.
Other than the $10 million guaranteed.
The reason why I went for John Gruden and the Raiders as a whole is because already he's having to explain his picks. Already, the victuals already out for him. It seems like nothing's happened yet. They haven't played the game yet. And everyone's already looking at it, putting so much pressure. He's already having to defend his picks. There's a lot of question marks over what he's doing, what the franchise is doing. So it's just not a situation where you really want to be in.
What he's done, he's gone for old and slow players. Yeah. And I mean, it might work, fair enough. If it works, it's revolutionary, but I can assure you, the NFL isn't getting slower, it's getting faster. So when you bring in Jordy Nelson and Doug Martin and things, and it's like, for what? Why are you doing that? For what reason? Listen, I'm a big Jordy fan. I've loved him when he was in Green Bay. He can't run anymore. He genuinely, I promise you, I've watched him. He cannot get open. Why? It's like Gruden wants to come in and say, we're playing old school tough foot. He said it himself, didn't he? I'm going to go back to 90s or mid. It's like 10 years. I was like, there's a reason the game's changed. Guys like Ezekiel Elliott and guys like Todd Gurley have changed the game. Doug Martin's not changed no game. No. So your backfield is what Doug Martin and Marshawn Lynch. That's a great backfield in 2010. Yeah. It's not a very good 2018 backfield, and that's the thing where listen, ultimately he's got a $100 million contract, and he's going to be a very rich man. He's going to get all the time in the world. It looks to me like he's gone, I need veteran guys to deliver my message. I get that, but they're going to be so slow. They've got no speed. Amari Cooper's quick, but he drops everything. Other than that, they are really, really lacking speed. So Cordell Patterson even is in New England now. Everything's gone a bit wrong there. So it might come wrong, but I'm with you. I am not expecting a lot from Oakland this year. I think they've gone down the road that they actually went down this road a few years ago, where they brought in all the veterans to try and establish a culture, blah, blah, blah. And ultimately they couldn't play. And establishing a culture is great, but you've got to be able to play the game as well, and it looks like Oakland are in a position where that's not the case. So yeah, we're in agreement so far. And then finally, your final winner then, Jenno.
I went for the Washington Redskins. Okay. This is just purely based on the fact that Chris Cooley was talking about perfect draft for us. Get the defensive tackle, get that running back. That's what they want, first, second round, and they got it. So if that was your perfect plan, and that comes to fruition, I think you've won, because that's a 2-round plan, whereas no one can most teams, they might have the person who was in the first round, but it's hard to know who you get in the second round. For that running back guys to actually make it to the second round, there's maybe maturity issues there, but there's no but the issues surrounding him aren't stuff that you're getting in trouble with the police. So with those kinds of issues, he should be fine. And then they got the defensive tackle they wanted, so therefore I think that's a winner for me.
Yeah, the only I just go back to the Alex Smith deal. I would talk about the off-season as a whole, and I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of guarantees for the guy who two teams have given up on. And I quite like Alex Smith. I think he's decent enough. I think he's is he a downgrade on Cousins? I think possibly, probably.
I was maybe thinking about the Alex Smith trade, which maybe they'd put more forward to it. That would have bounced it back a little bit. But
you've gone off the draft, haven't you? But
yeah,
as a whole,
mainly going on the draft.
I think that, and they're going to get, they had a ton of injuries last year. The injury, they can't have that injury bad luck again. So I think the defense is going to be actually really good. I think the defense is going to be better than people think, but offensively, a lot's on Smith's shoulders now, isn't it? So it's the Smith and Guy show, probably.
Yeah.
I mean...
But I think that was one of the big problems last season. Every time they got a running back, he got hurt. So now they got the running back who a lot of people had a first round grade on.
But I suppose the issue is he was injured a bit as well. So if they can keep the tight end fit, Reed, I think he's amazing. But again, a lot of questions. And then finally, let's end on a big negative, because why wouldn't we end on negative? Your final loser.
I can't have hinted at this before. It's Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, of all the places to go and learn, there was talk that he might have been a first round pick, and he slipped to the third, and now he's behind Ben Roethlisberger, who's giving interviews saying, I don't know why he's here, I'm not sure what the point of him here is, he's not having my job, are you going to help him? No, not really. Listen, Ben's a bit of a, we know what Ben is, he's a bit of a...
He's in your face balance. All starting quarterbacks are bellends, and most of them just do it behind closed doors. As I said, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, behind closed doors. He's just in your face. Nah, you're a fuck you.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's gone on the radio and done interviews and saying, I agree. I think Paul Mason, when I graded the quarterback, I had Mason Rudolph as like a 4th rounder. I think he was Bryce Petty, but a little bit bigger. And I couldn't believe that there was talk of him going in the 1st round. And ultimately, NFL teams obviously agreed because he fell to the 3rd, where the Steelers, to be fair, they traded up to get him. It's odd because they've now got 4 quarterbacks. Obviously, they're going to get rid of Landry Jones, I think, at some stage. Josh Dobbs, they only drafted last year in the 2nd or 3rd.
4th round it was.
Yeah, and now they're going to get Mason Rudolph in the 3rd. That kid's in it, the only thing I would say is that he, in terms of winners, if you're going to go and sit behind a veteran, a guy who gets hurt a lot isn't the worst one.
Yeah.
And as good as Ben's been, and I think of Ben's really good, by the way, he gets injured a lot. And although he likes to play the hero of walking out, are you playing this weekend, Ben? No. And he strolls out like...
He's the kind of person who cuts his thumb and tells everyone, God, I don't know, I'm throwing it with this tiny little cut on the thumb, which actually happier. But yeah, he's that kind of person.
But he has missed a lot of games, so if Rudolph finds himself at QB2, he might actually get on the field quicker, where there were some teams, say for example, if he either went to somewhere, say San Francisco, for example, he's the number 2 quarterback, he's the number 2 quarterback for 10 years or 5 years, at least in Pittsburgh, Ben keeps saying he might retire. And who knows? Again, I think he's lying. Yeah. But he does get hurt a lot. So you might, if Rudolph is QB2, which you'd imagine he would, why would you trade up to the 3rd round to get him if he's not? I suppose that's the one glimmer of hope, is that he might see himself on the field with Le'Veon Bell and with Antonio Brown and with Juju Smith-Schuster. The negative is he's got to spend 10 hours a day in a quarterback room with Big Ben, who clearly hates his guts. And it just sounds like it's going to be very, very awkward.
Yeah, and then also the other quarterback also hates his guts because he just going to take his position.
So yeah, Mason's... Listen, he got drafted, he's a winner, but he got drafted far too long. He got drafted to a terrible situation. So there you go. Recap, winners, we've gone for Eli Manning, we've gone for Jimmy Garoppolo, we've gone for Tom Brady, all pretty much winners in life, in pretty much everything they've done. We've gone for the value of running backs, and we've gone, of course, for the Washington Redskins. Losers, well, sorry, Joe Flacco's a loser. The Giants as a whole, Jenno thinks are losers. Jenno's also... Carlos Hyde, sorry, Carlos, you've been bombed out. Oakland fans and John Gruden. John's really, really rich, but we think things are going on a downslope, and ultimately the people of Oakland have got to see their team leave in a year anyway.
Yeah. So they're getting old and slow to then see them move to Vegas.
We're getting old and slow and going to Vegas, and then finally, of course, we just had Mason Rudolph is a big loser as well. So there you go. Let us know in the comments section below which of those you agree with, which you don't agree with. Is there anyone that we should have talked about? Who's the biggest winner in your eyes, and who's the biggest loser in your eyes? We'll be back next week with another show. We'll find out what we're going to talk about. We'll plan that at some stage in our life.
The day before.
Yeah, maybe we'll get on WhatsApp and sort that out. But like I say, if you've enjoyed the show, please give it a thumbs up, please tell your friends, and please subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back next week on Cover 2 TV. Goodbye.